Today's lesson is on forms of a line. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to write an equation of a line, identify lines that are parallel or perpendicular using equations of lines. Linear functions come in a variety of forms. The two shown below have been introduced in Common Core Algebra 1 and Common Core Geometry. Make sure you know slope-intercept, which is probably the most common, and point-slope, which is sometimes easier if you're given 2 points. M is the slope, or the average rate of change of a line, and x sub 1 and y sub 1 represent a point on the line. So make sure you know your slope is your average rate of change, and x and y represent a point on the line. Consider a line whose slope is 5, and which passes through the point -2, 8. Write the equation of a line in point-slope form. So your point is -2, 8, which represents your x1, y1, and your slope, which is 5. So we're just going to substitute y minus 8 equals 5 times x minus -2. Could you rewrite this as x plus 2? Sure. It would actually be better. Now they want us to write the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. So we are going to continue with our point-slope form. So y minus 8 equals, and I'm just going to distribute this, so 5x plus 10. And then I'm going to get y alone, because in slope-intercept form, y is alone. So I have to add 8 to both sides, so y equals 5x. So if I add 8, I get plus 18. So notice my slope is 5, my y-intercept is 18. All right, exercise 2. Which of the following represents an equation for a line that is parallel to y equals 3/2x minus 7, and which passes through the point 6, -8? Well, you need to know, or remember, parallel means they have the same slope. So that is very, very important. If they are parallel, they have the same slope. So we know that our new equation has to have a slope of 3/2. So notice these equations are in point-slope form. So our slope is 3/2, and our point is x1, y1, 6, -8. So y minus, what's y1? -8 equals slope 3/2, x minus x1, 6. Remember, this can be written as y plus 8. So we're looking for y plus 8. 3/2 x minus 6. So that would be choice 3. Exercise 3. A line passes through the points 5, -2 and 20, 4. Determine the slope of this line in simplest rational form. So slope is the same as average rate of change. Average rate of change and slope are change in y over change in x. So our y values are -2 minus 4 over 5 minus 20. And you should be able to do that very easily by now. So the top gives us -6, the bottom gives us -15, or if you plugged it in your calculator, the calculator would have given you 2/5, which is simple rational form. So now write the equation of this line in point-slope form. So point-slope form, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So y minus, what's one of our y values? It doesn't matter which one you use. So I'm going to use the first one. So -2 equals 2/5 x minus 5. And remember, this could be the same as y plus 2. Now, you could have used this other point. So you could have had y minus 4 equals 2/5 x minus 20. Either this one or this one is acceptable, depending on which point you used with the slope. Now they want you to write the equation for this line in slope-intercept form. So again, it doesn't matter which one you use, you're going to come out with the same answer. I'm going to use y plus 2 equals 2/5 x minus 5. If you want to challenge me or confirm that I'm not lying, then go ahead and do this one and make sure you get the same answer I get. So y plus 2 equals 2/5 x minus 2. Well, I need to get y alone, so I'm going to subtract 2. So y equals 2/5 x minus 4. So that is slope-intercept form. And for part D, for what x value will this line pass through the y value of 12? So the y value is 12. I'm going to put 12 in for y. And I'm going to solve for x. I could use my technology and put this 2/5 x minus 4 into a graph and look at the table for where the y value is 12, or I could do the algebra. So I'm going to add 4. I get 16, 2/5 x. To get rid of 2/5, I could divide by 2/5, but it is better to multiply by the reciprocal, 5/2. Plug this in your calculator, and you'll find out that x equals 40. So this graph has an x value of 40 and a y value of 12. And our last exercise, exercise 4. The graph of a linear function is shown below. Write the equation of this line in y equals mx plus b form. So when you have a graph, it's much, much easier to write it in slope-intercept form. When you're given points, usually it's easier to write it in point-slope form. So it's good to know both. So y equals, I need my slope. So slope is the change in y over the change in x. So when I look at a graph, I'm going to look at the change in y, which is the amount I go up, and the change in x, the amount I go over. So I went up 2 and over 1. So that's 2 over 1, which is the same as 2. And I know that this slope is positive because it's rising to the right. If it was rising to the left, if it looked like this, it would be a negative slope. So I have a positive 2 slope, and my y-intercept is right here at positive 1. So I have m is 2x plus my b value, my y-intercept, is 1. A y-intercept is where it intersects the y-axis. So what must be the slope of a line perpendicular? Ooh, another word. So parallel was equal. Perpendicular is negative reciprocal slope. That means flip and negate. So if the slope is 2, that's 2 over 1. So to flip it, I get 1 over 2, and then I need to negate. Okay? Flip and negate, or negative reciprocal slope. So you need to know parallel is equal slopes, perpendicular is negative reciprocal slopes. And that should be reviewed from Algebra 1. So draw a line perpendicular to the one shown that passes through the point 1, 3. So 1, 3 is right here. I'll use a different color. So I have a slope of negative 1/2, negative 1 over 2. So I'm going to go up 1, and I have to go over 2. So I have to make this a negative slope, so I'm going this way. If I wanted to go down 1 for negative 1, I could go over 2. Down 1 over 2. That might be easier to see the negative slope if you follow the signs appropriately. So there's my perpendicular line. I am crooked, sorry. And you know they're going to ask us to write the equation of that line. So the first line was y equals 2x plus 1. So now we have to find this line. So we don't know where it hits the y axis. So we have to find that. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus the y value is 3 equals, we know our slope is negative 1/2 x minus 1. Now we want to know, does this point lie on the line? So again, we could plug in the line in our calculator what we want to justify, which means we have to show our work. So the y value is negative 15, so I'm going to put negative 15 in for y. And I'm going to put 30 in for x. And I'm going to do the math. Negative 15 minus 3 is negative 18 equals, plug in your calculator or use your brain, doesn't matter, negative 1/2 times 30 minus 1, which is negative 29 over 2. So no, they're not equal. So no, it is not on the line, and meaning it, the point, because I don't really like the word it in math, because you guys need to say what you mean. So the point is not on the line because the left side of the equation does not equal the right side. If you have questions, make sure you ask. Good luck.